All right, 6 o'clock. Time for some back action, and maybe just a little hint, maybe just a tiny touch of shoulders, but well, we'll see when we get there. That'll be for after back. I was probably about to talk about my exercise selection first, but I was just scrolling. Well, no, I've never scrolled TikTok while I'm driving. That's my legal statement. But let's just say I was watching a TikTok a while ago, and it was of what was it? I think it was Rock Lee, right? Dude, any damn show like that has a time skip, and then whoa, holy crap! All the characters are now suddenly stronger. They've progressed so much. You know, the reason why they did that, the reason why they skip that time and jump straight to the good part, is there might not have been a lot to see. You know, a training arc is typically almost just like skipped over, where it's like, you know, you might have like a highlight of, you know, 1 day worth of training, and then it cuts to black. It's like, all right, 8 months later, to imply that from day one, during those 8 months, or what, you know, whatever it might have been, that's all that occurred. Just pure locked in this, you know, nothing really else, at least in terms of whatever that kind of training was. And it was very repetitive. So repetitive and so potentially not uninteresting, but just, you know, potentially tiresome to have to watch from the third person, that they skip ahead to the good part once all the cool shit has actually been gained, you know. So I say unto you, the lifter who's, you know, maybe not feeling particularly close to the gains that he wants to achieve, dude, don't forget, lock it in on a day by day. That's where it's at. You know, it's not even a battle of years. Like, this isn't like, okay, I've finally worked out for 6.5 years, almost 7 years. I've finally reached this level that I can be comfortable with. Like, no, man, it's not even a year by year game. Right? It's a day by day game. And the guy who has more days, where the day after he's just as locked in as he was before, and he keeps showing up, that's where it kind of supersedes into a long-term endeavor, which there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's simply just a transformation to be watched, you know. So all I'm getting at there is, right, if you can, you got to raise the bar of what your own personal level is, right? Because at first, let's go all the way down to level 0, the non-lifter, right? And then work our way up from there. The non-lifter doesn't work out, probably doesn't, you know, think about his diet much. Doesn't mean he's out of shape. It just, you know, he doesn't really think about it. It's just eats because he's hungry. You know, it's simply a necessity of life. Now, level 1. All right, I'm going to start going to the gym. You know, maybe there's level 0.5 where you have an interest to go to the gym, but you haven't really gotten there yet. You know, that's kind of the in-between, the spark that kind of begins this potentially wildfire in a good way. And then level 1, going to the gym at least even a few times a week, that's sort of the challenge. You know, even when we've all seen it, what percentage of guys who showed up January 1st, or, you know, January whatever, to start working out have kind of, you know, that was the challenging part, the showing up. Once you're there, obviously you're going to do a workout no matter what it is. You drove there, you got into the gym, you scanned your key card, you're there. Of course you're going to work out, it's not a question. But coming back the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, that's the challenge, right? That's kind of the hard part. So breaking past that level 1 difficulty of just showing up consistently to level 2, for some that's going to take a while. But that is still a massive jump. Because somebody just going to the gym, like, you know, maybe they have a workout plan of like even just a 4-day a week routine, and they end up skipping like 2 days a week, basically every week. And then sometimes they just go like a month where they need, I'm busy with this, just infinite excuses, right? We've all been there. But to go from that to the guy who actually does show up for that 4-day a week routine, level 2, right? That's a huge jump. And the guy who can show up consistently like that will soon realize or maybe not realize, but at least undergo the process of having going to the gym no longer be a challenge. That's just part of his routine. That's just what he does. You know, it's not even a question, right? You're going to wake up, you're going to do whatever. All right, I got to go to the gym after, and then I get to go home and whatever. Right? It's just a part of your routine. And then, so the bar has gone from zilch to, you know, kind of training infrequently, frequent, consistent training. And then, now that your bar of showing up, you're past it, right? You got to raise the bar to, okay, I got to show up and I got to start killing it, right? Actually coming to the gym, that's a prerequisite. That's not a question. You're coming to the gym. But now it's, okay, just how hard can I push it? And then it sort of scales its way up from there. Plus, you know, there's the angle of adding the macro tracking and everything else, but that's almost its own thing, right? But you definitely want to get to a point where the showing up is no longer a question. Because once you're there, to start to push it afterward and then think, okay, all right, I better start drinking water. All right, I better start eating more food. I better start, you know, just whatever, you know, prioritizing, improving my training. The more you can get into that sort of like state of things, right? That's way better. No, that's obvious. You know, this isn't a groundbreaking idea, right? So I guess the theme of this little pre-lift hype talk, right, is you know, showing up, that should be your baseline. And then killing it, that should be what you're aiming for. And so for me with back today, obviously showing up, but now it's still in the air as to just how hard I'm going to kill it once I actually get in there and get started. So I'm going to change it up from last time. I think I started with single arm pull downs, then moved on to like hammer strength row, and then finished like with something. But I'm going to make sure that today's lift starts at least somewhat different. There might even be some bent over rows involved. We'll have to see. I like the bent over dumbbell rows, but they kind of put a lot of torque on my abs, right? Because now you got a bunch of weight on only one side of your body, so your abs are going to kind of act to stabilize. Just a little funky. But either way, once I get warmed up, we can just jump straight to working set number 1. I think I've got a plan. Mechanical single arm drop set. So 4 plates, and if you hop on this machine and grab this top handle, you're pretty damn strong. You can move some weight around. But if you grab the lower handle, or you got less mechanical advantage, I mean, honestly, the row going from here to here, I mean, it feels like I added 2 plates. I'm sure somebody could do the math, but it's much heavier. So I'm going to start low, heavy. Well, it feels heavier. As many as I can do with a hold, maybe some nasty partials. Drop it, grab the top handle, so basically lightening the load, and then pumping out a few more. So that's the game plan for this opener. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, this is a good opener. Oh my God. Oh, a few more. Ish. Oh. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Let's do one more heavy straight set and then move on. Oh my God, okay. Oh my God. Holy shit. Oh, yeah, that was good. Holy crap. Oh. So even though that was a row, a lot of lat activation. So I think let's move on to an upper back trap squeezing row. And then, honestly, finishing with pull downs, that might be it. Because these are really hitting me hard. But let's move on. Yeah, this will be good. Actually, a little bit heavier. But the whole point of these, in stark contrast to those machine rows, because those were just heavy, move the weight around. This, the weight's a bit more moderate. Moving it isn't a challenge. I want to have a good hold, squeeze at the top, and then kind of ride the negative a bit more slowly with intention. Well, intention, literally. All right, come on. No. 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 Oh my God, okay. Oh. Yeah, only one more of those. Yeesh. This is definitely the most pumped my back has been so far this year. Okay, holy shit. Oh my god. Yeah. I might only need one set of pull downs, honestly. My back is wrecked. This should work just nicely. Okay, that's good. Oh my god. Now that's what I call a back pump. Unequivocally, honestly, not much room for any discussion on the matter. That was a good lift. Some heavy nasty sets first, followed by some more intentional squeezing sets afterward. Which, not a bad framework. Depends on the movement. You know, like I probably wouldn't want to start quads set number 1 with, heavy squats. At least not without a proper warm-up. But for, more, maybe, I guess, handleable body parts, like chest and back, I think starting heavy is not a bad way to go about it. And by heavy, I mean heavy, man. Do some failure reps. There's nothing wrong with a set where the first 5 or so are good. And then it's not form breakdown. It's muscle breakdown, right? You just physically can't move it anymore. No matter how hard you try. And that's a good, well, not a defining statement, but a good descriptive statement of a good heavy set. And frankly, just looking at my own reflection, I'm feeling like a beefcake. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. All right, front lat spread. Oh, goodness. Very freaking nice. So now I get to go home, frankly, knowing I killed it. I don't think I really could have done a better back day than that. At least not given today's circumstance. Like, I think I reached enough intensity solo this workout based on what I can kind of handle. But as these workouts progress, regular straight sets to failure, I don't think are going to cut it. At least not for every set. So that's where I'd want to have somebody help me on pull downs. Or once I'm just about at failure-ish, have them pull down and assist with like an extra 5, maybe even an extra 10. Same thing with bench, same thing with push downs, same thing with curls and all sorts of other shit, That's kind of my soon-to-be progression style of training, adding in much more intensifiers. But so far, day 17 of the bulk, I think I reached the intensity I was aiming for. So now I get to go home and eat. And I don't have to eat so intensely. At least not yet, but I definitely freaking will. All right. Yeah. I would be lying if I told you that I was feeling anything short of, well, I was about to say a badass, but honestly, that's not really how I'm feeling. Well, just feeling freaking sweet after that workout. Pumped out of my mind, threw some weight around, and it felt good. Honestly, that last set of pull-downs felt incredible, to the point where I wonder if I should have done one more. Now, I don't think so, because I think that was kind of enough. I think what would have been better is if I grabbed somebody to help with some assisted reps right at the end. That would be... I think that would have been the cherry on top, because I could feel my lats going all the way down to the lowest point that they insert, just above my hips, and even a little bit into my lower back in those last few reps, or in that last set of pull downs, which is a pretty cool feeling indeed. The only other kind of feeling I'd kind of relate that to would be like when you're doing chest. Let's say you're doing a chest press of some sort, and your chest is already really pumped. So it's almost like, yes, you're manually contracting your muscle to move the weight, but also you're so pumped that it's almost acting a little bit like almost kind of rubber bandish, because when you get really pumped like that, obviously you get tighter, right? So it's almost like you're giving yourself self-assistance with just how pumped you are. Like when I squat after already having a bit of a quad pump from some leg extensions first, I feel like it almost, I don't know, it just like amplifies the feeling I get in my quads. Like, it might not improve your strength per se. Like obviously a world record power lifter isn't going to do leg extensions pre 1 rep max, but for like a legit volume set, 10, 12, 8-ish, something along those lines, having some blood in the area, dude, it just feels freaking good. So I think that back day went nearly as well as it could have. And the only reason I say nearly is I do think that last set might have been a little better if I had some assisted reps. But that is the only takeaway, and that's hardly a takeaway, honestly, because it still felt really good. More so just a little, just a little thing for me to know for next time. So now I think I should be getting to the point where some assisted reps as intensifiers, or just any kind of intensifier, drop set, superset, should be kind of probably added in right about now. So I'm sure we'll start to see some of that in the coming lifts. And some lifts are easier to help with assisted reps than others. Like pull downs, super easy, right? Just have somebody grab it at the top, help pull you down, and then let go. Or, just kind of hold on the whole way down, kind of makes it a little bit more of a natural force. Because if you just let go right at the bottom, if the guy's really getting fatigued, sometimes he might just like drop it or almost let it like fly up too quick. Bench is probably the hardest, because you can't have two guys give you assisted reps on either side, because then they're probably gonna do it off kilter a little bit, and it just won't be very balanced. But if you got one guy, then the dude actually does have to kind of know what he's doing. So a little tip for anybody, if you want to give somebody assisted reps on bench, I wouldn't recommend letting go and then grabbing on, letting go. I wouldn't recommend that kind of method. For me, at least, the way that I would kind of tell somebody to do it if I'm asking them to help me is I want them to just, once I give a cue, or if if this rep just isn't coming up and they do have to help me even finish that rep, is just hold on with both hands and don't let go throughout the remainder kind of assisted reps, just to really kind of get into it with you. But yeah, with things like push downs or like preacher curls, I mean, that's basic, we all know how to do that. Just kind of help the guy up when it's getting hard. Yeah, so I think that's going to be what'll change in the coming days. Maybe more so in the coming lifts. I mean, but if you couldn't tell by those last couple of yawns, I think I'm going to sleep quite freaking well tonight. But yeah, so one thing I've noticed post-diet and then now mid-bulk is I've been having the most vivid dreams. Like, they were getting really freaking funky. And I can basically attribute that to food. And what I mean by that is, I mean, your brain is freaking running on glycogen as its primary fuel source. So now that I got, more than enough carbs going into my system, it's making me, I feel like it's making me hyperactive at night. I mean, I'm sure you can tell now I'm a little bit more chatty now that I've got some food in my system, because, it's just got more kind of spare energy, which at the cost of getting a little bit softer, but with the benefit of getting a bit bigger, I am a-okay with that. I've as much as doing the whole competition and being extra crazy lean is cool and all, that's not me making the competition side is me making progress in the competitive side of things. But in terms of like my actual physique and how big I'm getting, dieting down, I'm not growing. It's not pushing me anywhere forward. It definitely is necessary between bulks so that I can get rid of that excess body fat, reset my appetite, reset my insulin sensitivity, and just kind of give my whole system a break. Because like when I'm dieting down, I'd say that is the easiest time, like, on my whole body, right? I'm not forcing down a ton of food. I'm way less inflamed. I think it's just more relaxed, and honestly, that's kind of how you're meant to walk around. Or maybe not meant, but we didn't really evolve with like crazy plentiful food where you're bulking up to 260. You reach your baseline body weight, and then people didn't used to just grub 24/7 like we are now. Bulking up, that's where it's a bit more intense, because it's like you just really pushing a lot of food, lifting much heavier weights, just kind of, I can tell I've got more inflammation. Like, not to a degree that I'm like, oh crap, I gotta start taking more ice baths but it's just kind of the state of things, right? So the back and forth I do like, and since I just really had a good fourth with that diet, really pushing it further than I ever have, now it's time for the back of getting some damn grub and size on my freaking frame. So I was just talking to some of the youngins, and not really youngins, they're just some of the other guys I know at that gym. Yeah, I think the end of this bulking phase will probably be my biggest and strongest, just from having more muscle, physically being able to lift more weights. Look, obviously I like a light squeezing set where the weight is very manageable and very controlled, and I'm really having a good hold at the top. But that's just one side of the spectrum, right? That's the yang. Don't forget about the yin of a real kind of heavy one. Don't go too nasty, of course. Obviously, you can go a little bit too far, but don't forget, mass moves mass. Mechanical tension is probably the most measurable in inducing force of muscle growth out of everything that we've kind of got available, right? So don't get too caught up in the oh, I don't have to lift that heavy. Lifting heavy, you got to lift lighter squeezing. Look, right? Get a pump, go hard, make gains, and you're golden. So, as long as those three criteria are hit, and your training philosophy is completely different than some of the things that I might talk about, then who gives a shit what I'm saying? You're making gains, you're going hard, you're enjoying it, dude, sweet, right? That's kind of what we're all here for. There's a lot of ways to, skin the cat of making gains, but for those who may be kind of thinking about branching out with their training style, maybe you kind of constantly kind of bounce around. Don't get too caught up with the details. Right? Go hard. Whoa, guy's really pulling out. Go hard. Go home, and go often. I think those are the three goes of working out. Where if you got those down, you are good. And kind of relating back to what I was talking about on the way here, where you got to make showing up to the gym on a consistent basis and tracking your calories and everything else, making that like a baseline state. Like, that's not an if, that's just what you're gonna do. There's this one quote I heard a while ago that I really liked. The idea is practice without striving, right? So obviously come to the gym, go hard, but don't complain about it to yourself, right? In a sense, like, try to make it look effortless. Like you just waking up, doing your regular routine, that's what training has to be. And once you get to that level, then you can really kind of start to maybe refine how you even kind of just imagine it for yourself and really go about it, But you got to get to the point where coming to the gym and killing it is, it's just to be expected for you. And then the more you can do that, the better. Because it's like the longer you work out, the less resistance you have to the working out, in the sense of like it just gets easier for you. Who do you think has it easier? Like who's it easier for to come to the gym for a week straight? The guy who's been lifting for 10 years, the guy who's been lifting for 2 months. It's probably easier for that guy. He's been doing it so long, he's just used to it, right? So that's part of the long game of the working out, right? You gotta keep at it, even if you might not exactly feel like it, and even if you might not exactly feel like you're at where you want to be. Wouldn't that just be a motivating factor to want to go harder because you're not where you're at yet? So just don't let yourself get beat up in any kind of form, at least not mentally, right? We've all seen the guys who kind of use the gym as a real good negative outlet. The breakup type situation. They're locked in. They're on demon time. I'm not going to say that's bad in the moment, but overall, for me at least, I want my workouts to look as such. Clear headspace, excited. Obviously, if I come into the gym without having like a pulled chest or pulled tricep or something, then I'm going to be able to go about my workout much more comfortably. So that's the angle of I don't want to hurt myself. And then as long as I rested and recovered, got enough food and water in my system, there's no obstacles that could stop me from getting a crazy pump. Like to me, it feels as not repetitive, but what's the word I'm really thinking of here? Well, it feels as guaranteed that the sun's going to come up tomorrow, that I'm also going to get a crazy pump tomorrow, which will be arms. And obviously there's no shoulders today. I don't think, I got to chill in the shoulders. My arms aren't matching them yet. So I think shoulders need to really take a break. No shoulders for a little while. And then just smack around everything else until they all match. But that's all I got to say for tonight. Ideally, you killed it. You got a big ass meal sitting in front of you that you've been watching this to, or maybe a small meal because you're dieting down and you're locking in a body fat loss situation. In either case, that's the way to freaking do it. Plus, I know you did 30 minutes of cardio today, right? Yeah, of course you did. That's not even a question. So that's all I got from me. I guess that's all you've got from me. And I will see you tomorrow for some arms, which I will bring a measuring tape to. Don't let me freaking forget it.